that goes out from the town, or whether we have to find a way to fund it separately. But just really getting those folks who just don't go with the digital channels and keep them aware of what's going on in town. So the content would be similar to what you see on the website or the social posts with regards to like the rec calendar, upcoming events, just keeping people engaged and meeting people where they are.
Are you thinking more like a postcard or a newsletter?
Like a newsletter, like basically more than a flyer,
right.
Less than a full newspaper, okay. But something hopefully that gets stuck into an existing other. That would be ideal. Zone communications is for open space. We continue to work on the ROSI. Hopefully we'll have that wrapped up this month, or at least with the recommendations to hand over at the end of this June meeting. We're also discussing the viability of a new community garden. So considering how not everybody's got a backyard. I live in a condo. A lot of people live in condos. Being able to get outside and do some gardening, it's therapeutic in a number of different ways. And looking at the properties that we currently own, obviously not looking to purchase new land for that purpose. But just again, looking for ways to get people outside and enjoy what we have here in Highlands. And lastly, on open space, we continue to seek applicants for our open spot. It's available. We also are going to be reaching out to the current members who haven't been able to attend several meetings, confirm their continued commitment to the role. It's certainly a volunteer gig, like most of these things are, and change happens, and it's understandable that folks can't keep that commitment. So we'll see if those folks who haven't been able to make several meetings are still interested, and if not, we'll open up those spaces on the open space committee. And then lastly, on Shade Tree, unfortunately, no new update for this month. The meeting was last night. I had a conflict with the HHRS middle school graduation ceremony, so in order not to get told by the wife, I went to the middle school. But we'll connect with the commissioner afterwards to see if there's any new items that require attention.
So from the Environmental Commission, the main source of discussion has been both bike path and the completion of the Hudson Trail that's supposed to come through, or something that was agreed upon before I was there. Clearly, where it is and where it's supposed to be, so it doesn't end up taking away parking, because we all know that can't happen in town, is something that was most of the discussion throughout. I would actually like to invite the reader to come through so you can actually kind of weigh in on your own. But that seems to be the main thing that they're talking about, where a potential bike path would be and how would it work in regards to the parking and non-parking situation. One of the main things that was brought up is clearly that the most dangerous place to do it would be on Bay, and why that couldn't happen. That was when I was the loudest. I was saying there's cars on both sides, you're kind of asking for trouble. But it was a really good and robust discussion about those things, and I'm glad to see after the last couple of meetings, more ideas kind of flowing out there to see what can be done to complete or start some of these tasks.
Okay. Hi. I'm going to talk about assessments. I spent a good bit of time with our assessor, and where we're at right now is almost 60%, probably a little bit more now, of the properties in Highlands have been inspected. If someone is coming around, they're not assessors, they're inspectors. They're just making sure that the footprint that the town records hold about your property is accurate. Because there's been a lot of fluctuation and change, and some things are totally inaccurate. And it's important for the quality of our taxes that our assessments are accurate. June is the month that all records concerning assessment values and tax rates are consolidated, so that in July you'll get a statement that will talk to the last two payments of this year and the first two payments of next year. If you go on the borough website, you can look at property information, but it's not necessarily accurate. If you really want to find out assessment values of your house or other properties and do some comparatives, the place to go is the county website. That's updated regularly. The one in town is different. It's actually a separate database altogether, and they get consolidated in June, and that's why those records go out in August. We can certainly do that, yes, and there's tons of information on it. It's a far more robust site, the county site, than the town one is. So, some good information about values in Highlands. I had a chance to do a fairly extensive analysis of the sales that have gone on since 2015 through 2020. And amazingly, as of June 2020, there's already been 50. That's pretty amazing. If you go back to 2015 and 2016 and a good part of 2017, and remember in those years, houses were not assessed at full value. Most houses sold at below assessment value. Things were tough. If you hit 2018 and from then on, it's rather incredible. Even though houses or properties are now being assessed at market value has been so wild that most houses are selling well above market value. That just bodes well. It bodes well for people who want to move on. It bodes well for all of us that people have moved in here. 1,000 properties have changed hands, and people are moving in knowing that their assessed value will be market value. So this bodes well for the town as we move forward, build the municipal building, and make the other changes and repairs that we haven't been able to make. So, also I have heard people talking about how they feel about tax abatements. And I dug out an interesting number. In 2003, the trailer park where the Pulte homes are now was assessed at $1,250,000. Just land, yes. Currently, and understand that most of them, probably all of the houses, the townhouses at the Pulte, what's the name, right? Harborside, whatever. At Harborside, they're not fully assessed yet because they have a 5-year step up until they will be fully assessed after their purchase. Its current valuation is $23,542,000
Just on the land.
just
right?
on the land and the portion of the property that is currently being assessed.
Right.
And that's got nowhere to go but up over the next 4 years. So that's incredible. The assessments, the tax abatements are an incentive for a builder to come and take advantage of a situation that's laying fallow or needs improvement. And look what it does for us down the road. So again, these are, I talked before about, well, we're going to stop paying that money for the high school bond, but this is money that's just going to keep on coming. So, pretty amazing.
I've got just, even though it's not a reporting day for the engineer wanted to let us know that he's working on a engineer, let me see, it's the New Jersey DOT grant, and he's going to be working on what area that is going to be so that we can apply in July. Those are one of those grants that are like CDBG where you could only go into certain sections of town. So we have to continue to use these, to take a part of these grants because all of these, until the final 2020 census numbers are released, they are counting on 2010 census numbers. Those 2010 census numbers of our median income and house values and all those things are a lot lower than what they are today. So we have to take advantage of every single grant we can get our hands on that are dependent on these lower numbers so that we can get more bang for our buck. So just want to let you know that that's happening, along with every other grant that you can possibly find. That's all I have. For rec, the July calendar, Jackie just put that out, so that would be on the website. And if you don't have the web, you can come here and Jackie will print off a copy for you. Does anyone have anything before I go to the Okay. All right, public portion.
I just have a statement I have to read.
Oh, go right ahead, sorry.
Thank you. Individuals wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their name, address, and the group, if any, they represent. Although council encourages public participation, it reserves the right, through its presiding officer, to terminate remarks to and or by any individual not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. If any individual refuses to conduct themselves in a proper manner, they will be removed from the meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of this meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointment, termination of employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of, promotion, or discipline of any specific or prospective or current employee. There is a 3-minute time limit for your comment. Thank you.
Thank you. sorry. To answer your question, it is against New Jersey state law for anyone to remove a wild animal and bring it someplace else, civilian or animal control. The only way that that can happen is with a certified pest control service. So that's the only way that that can happen. There are very steep penalties if you try to trap something and say bring it up to Hartshorn. Guess what? They're going to come right back down here. I think it's about $1,000 is the fine for trapping an animal and releasing it someplace else. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Mike, there's no crosstalk between residents. I know. I said, John, you should know better. All of your comments come here.
I'm
Wait.
sorry, sir.
You're out of time.
Yes.
You can call me whenever you want.
My daughter's house in Hoboken was totally wiped out. I am familiar with FEMA. And let me clarify, FEMA seems to be eager to assist this. That's what my specification was.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir. Thank you.
No, I get what your question is. All of the sewer mains in the Borough of Highlands belong to the Borough of Highlands. The mains, not the laterals. That's answering your question. And this is exactly what Mayor O'Neill told you 2 weeks ago. Sure.
The mic is not, no, so you'll have to speak up, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Numbers? Lots of numbers? Love numbers. Sure.
Thank you. I think it would actually be best if we, to file for CRS, it takes, actually, what I think it's about 150 to 200 hours worth of work. I think we'd be by a certified floodplain manager, which we don't have. It's really something that should be done by a firm, and I think we would be best served to go out to bid to get somebody to finally get this done. It's bigger. We don't have those certifications, so it's something that I feel that we should just go out to bid for it, see what comes back, and see if we can proceed in that manner. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, of course you gave us something. So if everyone's in agreement, I'll talk to Mike tomorrow when he's back in the office. Okay. It's something that Mike and I have been talking about anyway, so it's just more of a, we'll get it done. RFP. Okay. It's just way too many. I'll go from the other side. American Recovery Funds, AFP plan, I think it is. The last number that we got, but it has not been confirmed with Treasury, so it could change. And that number was, I believe, off the top of my head, about $466,000. That money will be given to us through the county. It'll be done in 2 installments. The first installment will be this summer, and the second installment will be next summer. There's a 14-page document about what you can and cannot use it for, and that's something that we have to decide altogether. You could use it for water projects, sewer projects, which is, of course, we're always looking to get money to help out on sewer projects. Accessibility for broadband. Like I said, it's a 14-page document. There's so many different things you could use it for. The fee ordinance, yes. Do we charge nonprofits? No, not really, because we normally co-brand a lot of these events. So when the Arts Council has that really great event in Huddy Park, we like for the borough and rec and everyone to get involved in it so that everybody is working together to put on a really great event that will bring more people to town, and we'll have, then everybody wins. So it's not, do I want to charge? I mean, I know this is all about HBP because that's all you care about, but I don't want to charge the Lions Club. I don't want to charge the Historical Society. I don't want to charge the Arts Council. I mean, people might feel differently. It's, okay, now you got more than enough of that time, but we'll get through this and we'll talk about it. In fact, I'll put it on for next exec to see if to take a look at that ordinance. I'm sorry, Cynthia. Very cool. Thank you. That's great. Okay, and with that, I'm going to end public portion and motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.